going on, everybody, man? King Recon here. Now, before we get into any of the greatness that took place in this week's chapter, I have to apologize first and foremost, man. I have no idea what happened to my brain. Some wire went in the wrong way, or whenever I woke up, like, my brain was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. But I blame two individuals. I blame Oda for breaking my ankle so much that I don't have any brain cells left, and I blame True Roofers. Listen, man, when I received that advertisement, I was immediately like, hold up, rated Roof Piece. And you know what my mind does? Y'all know me. When I think about Roof Piece, this stops and this is accelerating. I feel like my muscles, I gain more exercise reading Roof Piece than I do going into the gym and hitting some bench. I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, man. Listen, the testosterone that goes through the veins. When I'm seeing Luffy and Kaido throw hands, the meathead energy, I could get me into the NBA. I could start playing running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Are you kidding me? Listen, man, the testosterone that goes within the veins? When I'm reading some Roof Piece, so I blame True Roofers. I really do. I blame True Roofers, and I also blame Oda for constantly breaking my ankles. But I don't know what happened yesterday, where my brain was just not working. I felt like I understood Kid, Killer, and Hawkins in that situation. But apparently, when I was reading the chapter yesterday, I needed that recap. So shout out to Oda for keeping people like me in mind of, that need a good recap for what's actually going on here with the power system and whatnot. Thankfully, by the time the chapter ended, I knew exactly what was going on, and it helped me to understand the pain that Killer was going through. Because I was thinking about more about it from Kid's perspective, but when I real deal understood what was going on and the Killer content was hitting, I was like, yo, this is peak. Loyalty to the max. Willer. You know what I mean? Willer! So, thank you to everybody in the comments for letting me know, as always, whenever I mess up. Because there was a lot of them. So I appreciate y'all, man. But it was an experience. Whenever you're reacting, that's the thing about doing live reactions, is that you never know when this is going to be working or not. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all for keeping me in mind and whatnot. It was a brain fart, man. It is what it is. When the hype gets to you, this thing stops working, especially for me. Y'all know me. Any roof type of content, and this thing stops working, and this thing starts. You know what I mean? I'm ready, man. I'm ready to start hitting some bench. But we're here today not only to talk about some Kid and Killer greatness, which of course was spectacular, and where that's going to lead into Go For It, Partner. You can already smell it in the air. I mean, that's if you smell, you can just tell that some Kid greatness is going to be incoming. That faced the end of the chapter. That to me is telling me Conqueror's coding. That to me is telling me that we might see some awakening. That to me is telling me that Law and Kid are about to start going in their like swimwear against Big Mom. Like, Kid is no games. No games. We're going to see Savage Kid from chapter 1009 whenever he was throwing down with Big Mom. And we're going to see some heat from my boy Kid, man. I'm so excited for it. Before we get into any of that, you know what we do here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. There's certain individuals that we hype up. And ever since I read this chapter and thought about the possibilities of what's going to happen in the future, there's one potential scenario that does not leave my mind. Somos. People, do you know what this means? Do you know what it means for Oda to now take Sanji out of where he is and is running off in a completely different direction when the burgundy and black is on the move? Y'all remember last week? Cypher Pole? Robert? Who wants to smoke? Because it's going to be free hands. Free kicks all day. Anyone who gets in this dude's way from here to accomplishing his goal is getting sweet chin music. It's written in the fine print. It is written in the fine print. This man, Queen, at this point in time, is trying to force him to use his raid suit, to accept his Germa side. That's what he's trying to make him do. He's trying to be like, you know what? The only way I can potentially beat this dude at this point in time, with him going ham, I mean, I just attempted to destroy his neck, and his neck said, nah, and bounced off. You know what I mean? Like, the sword couldn't handle Sanji's neck. Who could? But, so he goes in, attempts that. Sanji starts running because he does not want to, accept the potential of him losing his emotions, becoming like his brothers, and what have you. But this is what we're getting towards here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the exciting part about this entire thing. The only way that Oda's gonna force Sanji to either put on the raid suit or accept his Germa bloodline or both is by forcing his hand. The only way that he can possibly do that is if someone attacks someone that Sanji loves and he sees it or he hears it. So let's just say, in the next chapter or in the coming chapters, we get a scenario where Sanji hears, we know his super hearing, man, he hears Robin and Brook in trouble in front of CP0. And Sanji's like, hold up, accelerated healing, enhanced physical strength, this man gets there in 0.0000000000005th of a second. Ready to throw hands, raid suit on guard, ready to go up in like somewhere. And so while he's there, fodderizing CP0, just throwing down, Queen shows up behind him. It is an unwinnable scenario. And now we have them reunited once again. It is Sanji, Brook, and Robin. And now Sanji has to go in there like swimwear. Brook has to go up in like swimwear. Robin has to go up in like swimwear against CP0 and Queen. But nobody's touching Queen except for Sanji now. You feel me? Queen is not going to be ready for the modifications made by Usopp and Frankie. And so when Sanji accepts the same thing that Robin accepted, that he has to become this monster that he does not want to become in order to save the people he loves, oh, it's over. It's over. Sweet chin music for everyone. I don't care who's in the vicinity. CP0, Queen, you could revive any one of the previous Wano Samurai there. That's Burgundy and Black. That's El Príncipe. Listen to me, bro. This man, Sanji, is about to display one of the most amazing character moments right here of just straight up saying, you know what, man, I'm tired of all this garbage. I'm just sick of it. I am going to accept it. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. Because the thing is it's not even going to be a thought. You know how Sanji is. If there's one thing that Sanji's always had, is that when it comes to either the women or the individuals that he really cares about, there is no second thought in his mind. He's sacrificing himself in order to do so. And so what better way for him to attempt this sacrifice once again? But then he thinks to Robin, he thinks to Brook, thinks about the rest of his crew, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to repeat the same mistake I made back in Whole Cake Island. And so rather than losing himself to the emotionless side of him, he's like, you know what? No, I'm going to control this. Because if I don't control myself, Whole Cake Island's going to happen again. I'm going to end up hurting the individuals that I love most. And so that's going to force him to bring all this under control while also accepting it. It's going to be such an incredible character. I can't wait. I can't wait because you can already, at least for me, it's as clear as day where things are headed. Whether it is Robin and Brook or whether somebody else that they run into, Nami and Usopp or Tom or whatever it is, Sanji's going to be put into a scenario where if he does not equip the raid suit, somebody's getting hurt. Someone that he cares about, whether it's a Stride crew member, a female, whatever it is. And he's going to be forced to don it. And that's when the decision's going to come into play. And it's going to come full circle with the Robin and Sanji plot line of them having to put aside all that they are, accept these things that they have not wanted to accept in order to stay with their beloved crew. And not only just accept it, control it. Control it so it does not take over them. Control it so that they can continue moving forward in a way to where they don't place a burden on those that they love. And I can't wait for it. This man Sanji is about to have a banger of a moment, and as a flippin' fan of Wanji, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. And Príncipe action. We're going to see him go up in like so more later. Bro, if this scenario plays out, this hypothetical situation I just played out for y'all, and he boxes CP0 and Queen, I am going to, bro, listen, man. We're going to be, it's going to be, what? It's going to be that ass up there to be swinging that thing. Swinging it. Slanging it, man. Yo, I might have to buy a Ronaldo jersey. You know, bro, listen, man. Look, with the kicks. The kicks. Yeah, I'm hyped for Black Leg Sanji. and what's about to take place here in the near future with his character. And with the hype moments that can come from that, man, and the emotional moments that can come from that. So I'm super excited for what's about to go down with Sanji. That's first and foremost. I had to get that off my chest because I've been thinking about it. The hype is incoming. The fact that he's heading off, and that's what Queen wants to do to him, it's like, it's coming. It's coming. Greatness is incoming, man. So this has been what I've been looking forward to in regards to seeing how Sanji's going to go about this, that conclusion that he's going to come to thanks to the events of Whole Cake Island, thanks to the events of Wano, finally being reunited with his crew and not wanting to ever lose them or never wanting to be separated from them again. The answer that he comes to, I cannot wait to see that play out here in this arc, especially with what's going on with Big Mom and everything. I'm sure that's gonna pop up in his mind and what have you. Like it's gonna happen. So I'm super excited. Regardless of the way that it goes, that it happens, I can firmly say that something similar to that's gonna happen. And even if it doesn't, Mr. Ankle Breaker is gonna come in, Mr. AI Oda, and bring something in that I could, far surpasses my imagination. Regardless, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of Sanji. Now, to finish off the video, I want to talk about the Kid and Killer situation. When it comes to Hawkins, I saw a lot of individuals in the comment section disappointed about what he was doing without this arc. And I can most certainly see the disappointment. This is something that's been hyped up for a long time, especially with his ability. We definitely saw him duke it out quite a few times within this arc by itself. But I think what Oda was trying to showcase with this fight in particular is selling out in order to ensure your survival versus sticking and staying true to those that have been with you up until this point, and how loyalty can overcome unwinnable situations, and how loyalty and utilizing your mind, because you got to use your mentals. Killer won that fight by using his mentals. And so how Killer was able to have his survival instinct kicked in, of how in the world can I possibly save Mr. Kid D. Eustace and myself? Right? Like, how can I save my captain? How can I save my partner? And he had to take a lot of damage. He had to take a lot of mental and physical damage. But he finally was able to do it. And he did so in such an incredible way. I haven't seen Oda draw panels like that, where it was like the one singular panel. It looked super good, man. I haven't seen him draw something like that in a while. And it's really, really dope. Like with the white background and just the two characters. I love stuff like that, man. So that was really good. And it's something that he did in the past several times with Zoro's fights, and it looks glorious. Looks fantastic. But yeah, and it led to 3 back-to-back things there where we got some payoff to promises. Even though it wasn't necessarily a promise, it was something that was shown to us, right? With Kid and his arm, we started theorizing about Hawkins' ability. At the moment this chapter came out, the original idea of like, hold on, man. Now if he loses his arm, that could lead towards the turning point in the battle. Not only did that lead to the turning point, that led to the defeat of Hawkins. And so Wakata got rid of that, went in, took off the straw man, and then defeated Hawkins himself. And all of that was just back to back to back. And Killer has been extremely impressive throughout this entire arc, as from a character standpoint. I've been really impressed with his character, like really enjoying his character throughout this arc, especially after learning who he is. With the Kamazo stuff, I loved it. And then, of course, leading into this arc, showing off his loyalty, seeing what he was doing against Kaido with the Sonic Scythe. I mean, really good stuff. But now, after this fight, Killer has definitely gone up in the ranks of favorite supernovas for me. He's a really awesome character. He's always had a really cool design, but now he has the character to really back that up, man. It's just super dope. His fighting style is really nice, too. So shout out to Killer, man. That stuff was really emotional. I can't wait to see it in the anime. Just the way the anime has been handling the Kid's relationship with his crew. Really looking forward to seeing how all that plays out there. And then with the tower stuff at the end of the chapter with Hawkins and the predictions in the future and whatnot. So because of all the stuff that's currently going down, obviously the tides are turning, right? And in the future, in the near future, something crazy. It might not even be talking about something that's happening here. It could be talking about something in the final arc, whatever. I understand all that. But what fascinates me is the way that those lines were placed alongside Kid's face. It kind of, for me, felt like specifically talking about Kid. in terms of this would forever change where Kid would go from here on out. Because now, let's just say Kid and Law defeat Big Mom. This was the catalyst. That moment was the catalyst for Kid becoming an emperor. For Kid becoming somebody well known in the One Piece universe as one of those dudes. One of those pirates that rules the seas. And potentially one of the individuals is going to have the biggest play in the endgame. You know what I mean? Like, that's most certainly can be the case if Kid goes on here and defeats Big Mom with Law. Like, that's just what I took from it. Because, yes, of course, we could be talking about the current Kaido situation and how, you know, it's turning the tides on there and whatnot, especially with the way everything's going. There's multiple different routes that can happen from here on out, especially with the way all the characters are moving in certain points. But I was thinking about it more from Kid's character. And especially with the way that his face looked right there, it just really made me think about his future and what type of greatness we're going to see from him. I mean, he's probably going to have a super show-out party here in the future. So, I don't know what we're going to be going into next. We still have a few fights outside of the main fights, but to see how fast he's been wrapping some of these up. Like, we already wrapped up around like 4 of the fights that are not a part of the main ones. So, he's probably going to be wrapping up the Orochi plotline soon, the Raizo and Fukurokuju stuff relatively soon, so that we can focus on Monster Trio, their battles, stuff going on with Momo and Yamato on top and whatnot. So while the rest of the crew, you know, continues and moves wherever it is that they're going to go, whether they do like a team boss battle against Big Mom or whatever ends up happening, right? I'm not sure. But we're going to start wrapping up these battles soon down here, especially with the way it's been paced so far. And then we're going to real deal go down and start focusing on what's on the main battles, which is going to be very interesting. Just seeing how all those end up playing out. But yeah, man, great stuff this week. Specifically character-wise from Killer, just really good stuff. And then for potential scenarios of what's going to happen here with Sanji and Kid. A lot of excitement for Kid. Really look forward to seeing him show out, especially now that he's going to have an opportunity to, with no limits, go up and like swimwear. Look forward to the tag team action between him and Law. They obviously have that chemistry down, back to good duo. So, man, that counter shock to the Big Mom's face this week was nasty. You know, shout out to Law, dude. Law is always raw. But, and then, of course, for potential scenarios in the future with Sanji as well, man. Just exciting stuff all around. Cannot wait for what's to take place. Actually, do any of y'all think that the way that Sanji's going is towards Big Mom? I mean, that is a potential scenario too. Though I don't see it being the case. I do believe that it's going to end up being, you know, Sanji finding someone out there. My top one thought, obviously, finding Robin and Brooke and CP0 and whatnot. But even if it's not that, like finding somebody else on the floor, that's going to lead to him to force him to use the Raitsu. So, but I really wonder, because the thing is about Big Mom is that unlike Kaido, she has barely taken any damage in this arc. Like, she's gotten walloped on and hit, you know, by multiple different things, like the Delphinium, the motorcycle, like multiple different things, but not to the extent that Kaido has. Kaido's been fighting a whole boss battle like this whole arc. So I'm really, really curious on seeing how Kid and Law are about to go about this entire scenario. Because they're going to have to show out to the maximum extent, like more than we've seen any character show out in order to defeat Big Mom right now. Because she's obviously a threat. Like, the second biggest threat here besides Kaido. So, if she is to be defeated here on Wano, and it is by those two hands, they're going to have to show out, which I have no doubt that they can, especially if they have to stand side by side by the king, who's obviously throwing in and going into like swimwear. But I do wonder if anybody else is going to join the battle with Kid and Law. I do. But at the same time, because of this week's chapter, it really is leading me to believe that Kid is going to be showing out to the max within the coming chapters. Like, he's going to awaken some crazy stuff, and we're going to see his fullest potential. And some really exciting stuff. So, overall, Kid hype, Killer greatness, and Sanji potential greatness incoming, man. Cannot wait for what's to come. Let me know what y'all thought about this week's chapter in the comment section down below. I'm looking forward to seeing what all of y'all have to say, in addition to what you talked about in the chapter reaction. So until next time, I'll see y'all, man. Have an awesome day. One Piece greatness. Let's go, dude. A lot of potential greatness is incoming. A lot of potential great moments incoming in the near future, especially as we're entering into the 1030s. It looks like it's going to be a really nice stretch of chapters of fight conclusions and great character moments. Just super excited for it, bro.